All right, Jim.
Well, he's doing that. Welcome everyone to the Johnny and Jimmy program. And today we're going to talk about um, a lawsuit against the Hawk Tour girl with her coin. We're going to talk about the world chess champ Magnus getting disqualified from Worlds, then getting reinstated to go on to share the championship title with, I forgot his opponent's name. I would like to discuss Sonic 3. There will be spoilers for that. And if we have any time remaining, maybe we see what's going on in the world of Boogie.
What I think we're going to do is we're going to have our own version of a Lolcal Live. Not this week, but probably into next week, probably on Wednesday or Tuesday, because before we get too deep into Haktua, we have to take a moment of silence, because Stuttering John has ended his podcast once again. Now, Jimmy,
Thought you were going to say he ended his life.
Before we begin to mourn, before you come on here next week and you have the veil over your face and you're officially a widow, because Stuttering John Melendez, your hero, your Long Island, your Staten Island friend, as a matter of fact, he's from Massapequa. So are a lot of your people. You have a connection to Stuttering John in a way. Just fucking, Staten Island. I don't know. See, that's the thing, is that I feel like you have Nebraska niceness in you now. So perhaps the shitty, just the Staten Island shittiness has evaded you. But it certainly has not evaded John. I can promise you that. How long do you think he stays off this time? Do you think he makes it a full couple of months? Do you think that he's teaching again? Like, what is your take on John?
I feel like he's going to be away for a month, and then he's going to come back, and he's going to say that he needed time. He's going to come up with something and be like, I needed time away for surely. Some garbage like that.
Well, have you been following anything that's happened in the last couple of weeks with Stuttering John?
I haven't. I've been there's another guy on YouTube that I follow daily that eventually I'd like to introduce to you to. Let's just say that if you think Boogie's a lol cow, this guy's gonna blow. We talked a bit about him on stream actually, and it'll blow your mind away how crazy this guy's gotten.
Well, Stuttering John, who of course has taken down his live stream again. He was in like a closet in his mom's house, okay? Because the first time he went to his mom's, as you remember last year, he was streaming out of the kitchen. Then he was making too much of a mess, so he was in the bathroom upstairs. Well, now he's made too much of a mess of that. So his mom literally has him in like a walk-in closet somewhere in this house. And that's where he's doing this podcast. It looks like, remember when he was not in Nebraska, but he was in that shitty hotel that the internet figured out was actually Kearney?
Yeah.
And then when John says, who? Nebraska? I've been there one time. And then literally on Reddit is a photo of John's car outside of the fucking hotel in Kearney.
My question is, when is he coming out of the closet?
Yeah. I mean, when are the cats coming out of the closet? When are those dead? Okay, that's the other thing, Jimmy. He's been at his mother's now in New York since before Christmas. Those cats are all by themselves in that house. He doesn't have a single friend in the neighborhood watching those fucking cats.
No.
So they have not been fed. Their litter box is probably loaded with shit. It's getting all over the house. This is a brand new house, Jimmy.
Yep. Well, he'll blame Shuli or Kamiya for that.
Well, he was going to you see he keeps YouTube's terms of service. He has to keep going to them and reminding YouTube's terms of service that he's not threatening anyone. He wants to go to Alabama and beat up Shuli, but he wants to do it in a boxing ring. So he says, "Oh, I mean a boxing match. YouTube terms of service," and then he goes back to just threatening and
Yep.
grading. It's wild. He really thinks that somehow algorithmically, if he says YouTube terms of service like into the microphone, that's going to make a tinker's damn of a difference. It's not. You're
Imagine using that as a defense in court. Your Honor, I killed that man within the terms of YouTube's TOS.
You see, this is the thing. Boogie is not an idiot. Boogie is very smart. I think that's what makes him a bit dangerous. John is just an idiot.
Oh, I
The
know.
parallels are there between John and Boogie, and I don't know if anyone else has ever drawn this or not. But what makes Boogie different is that he's actively working, and it doesn't matter how many times Boogie shows the world just how just how bankrupt of morals and any real consideration for anything and anyone but himself. No matter how many times Boogie shows those true colors, he's always going to find work. John has not worked since 2017.
No.
And well, he has. I mean, he's been a substitute teacher. He's worked at Amazon, but he has not. He has not had a show business job in a very long time.
You think he'll write another book?
About what? About how did I defeat the Trumps?
No,
I don't know.
No, I know he'll write a book about. Shuli's a shill, and I'm gonna go to Alabama.
His book is going to be called "Don't Cross the Duke." The second Stuttering John book. Oh, it's so terrible. Remember, a few weeks ago, we were bullshitting about John, and we proved on this program that for about $50, you can have John's, Gary's, Jackie's, and Artie's books, all for about maybe $50 to $70.
It was 40. It was like 49. It was $49 and something cents. So it was.
Oh, so I'm way overshooting it. Okay, so
no, you said you said 50, and the cart was about 50. So you were actually right on the money.
You know how I knew? Because I almost hit. I have Amazon Prime.
Yes.
So I don't have to like fulfill my cart and do the extra steps like normal people. So if I just would have double clicked my cart, that shit would have been like in my possession now. I would have, as a matter of fact, I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to, instead of having wrestling shit back here one day, it's just going to be easy for you to say Joke Man Cometh, fucking whatever the other ones are. They call me Baba Booey. They're all going to be back there.
Oh, Christ.
I don't think the wife, I mean, I guess if I actually had $50 to blow, I would do it in a heartbeat. I just don't have that kind of money I don't have that kind of money yet. I don't know what I consider throwaway money, maybe $20 and under, but 50 is still just a little too rich for my blood.
Yeah, you see, I hate to be that guy, but $50 is easily throwaway money for me.
Yeah, but this Jimmy, but I get that. You're in a different. First of all, you live in a time warp. Okay, motherfucker. Okay. You get off all bullshit. You get off at 385, and suddenly, it's 1968.
Oh,
with your fucking too loose cigarette mortgage. Get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
Just because you're gonna have fucking Kylie and Pamela, taking care of your fucking gas and electric come August, you cocksucker.
It's,
Doesn't mean
act-
that.
it's
What?
actually Celeste. It's actually Celeste and Amanda. Thank you very much.
Well, you sure? See, that's
I'll
the
write
other
it.
update, by the way. We've been so busy lolcalling. Have you purchased the rental property yet, or is that still in process?
Purchase what?
The rental have you got your rental property yet, or are you still looking into that?
Um, I have. If I'm able to rent anything out, it'd be one room at the moment.
Oh, okay. Well, I know because when you finally get that second trailer that we spoke about earlier, a few weeks ago, I think that was over a month ago now. I didn't know if you were looking into it or not, but shit,
I
once
don't
you
know
get
if
that
I.
thing,
I
that
don't know
would
if I
be.
said it. I don't know if I said anything about a second trailer.
Well, you said something about a property somewhere.
Well, I said eventually I would move to like South Dakota, and that's where my
Hmm.
final frontier would be, and I'd just rent out
Oh,
this.
oh, dude, that your current house would be liquid gold in that town.
Yeah.
My God, especially during the school year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yes.
Well, anyway, maybe when the day that old Rita Panani finds your love letter, she will she will buy you your cottage in South Dakota there, Jim, and give you kisses on the forehead.
And tucks me into bed and tells me a story about lefties losing it.
Tells you a story about how Joe Biden fell off a wall and had like somehow like Humpty Dumpty is Joe Biden.
And says that a straw penny is worth a barrel in the mid Hampshire 70 fryer.
Oh Jesus! Just something that just is awful.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Of course, now that Biden is no longer president, and we only have 19 days until Trump is back. Do you remember when Biden was talking in Iowa, and he said that the black kid should have just as much of a chance at life as rich kids?
Yeah. I remember saying that. Do you know that was so bad? That's like me saying that the poor kids need to have a chance against the white kids, and you'd be like, whoa, what are you trying to say there?
Right.
Like when he said that, I'm like, whoa, you're so bad. But to be fair,
Oh,
this is the same guy that says, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. So I mean,
well, I was going to I was going to segue this into a news clip about Magnus Carlsen. However, it
however,
is NBC News, and we are
uh,
not going to fall for those cocksuckers ever again. So instead, um,
while
I
you're
will.
pulling while you're pulling that up, I'll just give quick context to people. So the
Okay.
context is that Magnus Carlsen is one of the best chess players in the world. He's a world champion. He's been a world champion, for a long time. Goes to play the current tournament, and he's playing through the event. And there's a match that's coming up. Suddenly, the committee decides they want to change the rules and say no jeans. And now I've had some people say to me, I didn't know that there was a dress code when it comes to like chess tournaments. Yes, there is. Because in most sports and competition, there are dress codes or attire that you have to wear. Well, they decided to say that you couldn't wear jeans, even if they're like khaki jeans or fitted jeans. And they said to him, either you go without jeans or we disqualify you. And he says that, well, I guess I'm out then.
Well, Jim, I've walked by some of these gamer, like some of these card shops. I can tell you right now that there's no fucking attire for Magic of the Gathering.
Well, yeah. You see, there's a different issue in those kinds of card games. Like in Yu-Gi-Oh, for example, Konami has to put out a rule that says that Yu-Gi-Oh players need to put on deodorant and need to take
Yeah,
showers
and
before
bathe.
events.
Dude, it was so crazy. All Elite Wrestling the locker room, the wrestlers themselves are saying they're going to these shows and the fans are unwashed and they can smell their body odor from inside of the ring, and it's fucking terrible.
Yeah. Which I sent
Christ.
which I'm not like the typical nerd that doesn't I'm not the type
You're
of guy
very
that's just like,
hygienic. I'll say that.
yeah, I like this thing called a shower. I don't like going like, yeah, you know what? I need to go a week without it. So, when I see Konami saying to Yu-Gi-Oh players, you need to put on deodorant, it's just like, oh, dude, wow, we really have to make that an official rule. A company has to make an official rule to practice basic hygiene
But you
because it's
see, though,
not.
I thought that the paradigm had shifted. I thought that a lot of nerds were like married guys now, and they had families, and then they weren't just
Well,
slobs. They weren't the
well,
stereotype.
yeah, that is true for the most part, but the ones who are married aren't usually the ones going to regionals or nationals or to top tier events. That's not to say
Oh,
that's not to say that's not the case for all of them, but most of the top tier players are the guys that dedicate their whole lives to that game and think that I need to get in 50 games and who cares about showering for a week. I need to be the best player.
okay. Well, I'm sure you have an apartment. I'm sure at some point in time you just, you go into your bathroom, just hop in the shower, brush your teeth, go to bed. Like there has to be some kind of. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I've
Yeah,
never.
I know that you're not supposed to shower every day. I've heard that that can actually dry out your skin and damage it or whatever. But I almost do every fucking day.
I shower every day. With what I do for work and every job I've had, I'm sorry, I'm showering every day. And I work around chemicals and stuff like that, so my skin's already getting fucked with anyway. I might as well smell fresh while I'm at it.
Right.
But
But this Magnus fellow, he's Norwegian. He is a five-time world chess champion, and a five-time world rapid chess champion. He apparently he's won a slew of awards. I'm not quite sure which is what. I'm not too
bas-
familiar with chess.
basically, in my time of living, if I had to tell you who the best chess player was, I'd tell you Magnus. Out of all the players that currently exist in my lifetime, that'd be the guy. I
Is he
can't
like
think.
is he kind of like the Bobby Fischer?
Basically, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Basically, think of who the best comedian is in your mind, or at least like what the universal consensus is, and I
Yeah.
would say that Magnus is that guy for chess.
What's
Like,
kind of funny is that if you pull up a picture of Magnus, we're going to pull up a picture of him here. Is it too wrong to say that he kind of looks like Bill Hicks?
yeah,
Oh shit.
he needs to
So
go.
anyway,
Never mind. Go ahead.
what were you going to say?
I was gonna say he needs to go stroll up on Dennis Leary if he's still around.
Oh yeah. Oh boy.
But
So this is the picture of the guy. And so getting back to this, there was this controversy, and I have it right here in front of me.
yes,
Hold on. I have the article right here in front of me. This comes from CNN, and it says Magnus Carlsen plays in World Blitz Chess Championship after resolving genes controversy. So as we were just chatting about, evidently, okay, chess matches are black tie events,
yep.
or at least in a traditional sense, that's what people have came to understand.
They are formal, and the give to give this committee some credit. When I was in chess club in high school, for big events they treated that the same way. So even at a high school level, you had to wear the suit and tie. You had to be fitted and everything. Like you was no exceptions. Like that was the deal. Well, eventually they decided that we could move to like dress shirts and like some events decided we would do semi-formal, or if you're gonna wear jeans, you still have to wear a suit and a tie or something fitted, which I'm
Right.
fine with.
Well, and also, Jimmy, the corporate world is changing. The status quo is changing. You could very well have a nice pair of pleated, kind of uh, like boot cut jeans, and you could wear a sports coat and a button shirt, and plenty of guys that's how they dress every day. Teachers dress like that a lot. Professors dress like that a lot. um, I see businessmen come and go, even where I work, and a lot of times you will see them, wearing jeans a lot of the time. So I don't necessarily think that. Look, there's a difference between a dress jean and then, like, your acid wash jeans with the fucking knees cut out and all of that. I mean, I feel like we definitely should have
Yeah,
some level there.
of course. And that distinction is made. No one is saying, look, obviously you shouldn't show up to these events looking like you just shot hoops at the Y, or you just or just hanging out in the mess hall or whatever. Like, this is a clean cut, fitted event. Well, the thing that kills me is they've decided in the middle of this event to announce a change in the dress code. This is what I find a problem with, is that most tournaments, events, committees, whatever competition it may be, if there's a rule change, you're going to know the rules before the next big thing. Like, this isn't nothing new. So if there was going to be a change in the dress code, that should have been announced prior to the event. Announcing it in the middle of the event is quite rather silly. That's like if I'm hosting a soccer event and I say that all players must wear like for this charity event, all players must wear black cleats with like red fitted shirts and all that.
Yeah, and that's definitely a rule in some divisions.
And then mid tournament, I say, well, actually, now it's blue. And if you don't get blue cleats by the next match, you're disqualified. And well, it's just like, what are you doing, guy? It's just like,
Yeah, well, I guess, in the way of, if you're traveling to a city to play chess, you bring limited clothes, and you decided not to bring a suit because you were told that you didn't have to have a suit.
or the,
Um,
yeah.
the whole controversy it's a bit, to me, it's a bit silly, but I won't dismiss it because I'm not too familiar with how the International
It,
Chess
it,
Federation handles things.
it's silly, all right. My issue isn't necessarily like with the whole attire. My issue is with the fact that the rules were changed in the midst of a competition, and it was for dress code. It wasn't like something with like an illegal move or like maybe an opponent stalling for time. It's not like it was something that would have made the game state more fair and proper. Like, if I'm playing against a guy who's ahead of me in a game and he's just like decides I'm just going to stall for like 10 minutes or whatever, yeah, that's a problem. You need to tell someone, make a move, and you need to make it sharp and make it rather quick rather than waiting 10 minutes and try to play the clock like a cocksucker. you know, but
Right,
just
right.
like jeans, it's not like this guy came in with like super cutout jeans. He didn't have a messy shirt and the I just banged your mother looking hair. It's just like,
Right. No, he was dressed presentably.
yeah.
And I just find it interesting that, I mean, look, I guess you have to have a standard because at the end of the day, you are on television. There are people in the crowd that are watching you. There are journalists that are observing you. So you should look the part.
Yeah, I get the
But
theatrics part of it. The
yeah,
theatrics makes sense. I understand that. Well, I guess the controversy though, eventually they just decided to let Magnus play because of how quickly backlash kind of went at them for the thing. As I mentioned to you in DMs, he played in the same competition 10 years ago and he won it while wearing jeans. Oops.
well, here's my question though: if the rules are just going to change because the general public, some of them probably aren't even chess fans, They're just people like us that are pontificating about the situation.
Well, I used to play chess, so I can
Well,
make
no, I know that you used to play
yeah.
chess. I understand that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, but like what you and I are doing now, we're just having a general conversation about it.
Yes.
We're not weighing in any official manner. My point is, if anyone can simply say, well, I don't like this rule and I think it's unfair, and then a mass audience agrees on that, does that mean that, the next player could walk in Crocs and a pair of sweatpants and they're disqualified? And then Twitter loses their shit. And before you know it, they're fucking letting you play in Crocs and sweatpants?
Well, in Magnus's defense, he did accept the rules, like the committee's rules, for what they were.
Yeah.
No, I think if someone walked in Crocs and a pair of sweatpants, that's not formal wear. It's not semi-formal wear.
No.
That's I'm going to the laundromat fit, or that's I have to run to Target at 8 p.m. or 8 in the morning because I forgot X thing. That's that fit.
But you know what, though? I think this conversation, it's not just about the fact of, it's chess and it's quirky and weird and it represents a bit of elegance and what have you. I think this is a bit of a deeper conversation. My job, for an example, okay, there was a point in time where we had a dress code. We didn't necessarily have an attire that we had to adhere to. And for the most part, you went in there, plain shirts, long sleeve shirts, jeans, khakis, that sort of thing. Well, unfortunately, people began wearing basketball shorts and sweatpants and all these different things. And, there was kind of, a slow burn until an exact uniform was put in place. So I completely understand where an organization may kind of trip up over what is semi-casual and to what extent can we be lenient, because I don't think that anybody who takes himself seriously as a chess player would dress inappropriately like that. But also, you never know you just never know. People are people.
I'll put it like this. Most people know that I usually throw on a shirt, shorts, and I do my thing. If I go to an event, you're going to see me in a fitted suit, and you're going to either see me in dress pants, or with the rules now, you will see me in jeans. I'm at a point where I don't take the game as seriously as I used to. I just understand what the setting is. I couldn't roll in with even like khaki shorts or anything like that.
No.
I guess I've just grown up around that scene for long enough to know that. And I guess another way I'll put it is Walmart, of all organizations and corporations, have a dress code. If they change it, you're going to hear it corporate wide. It's not going to just be ambushed on you out of nowhere. And if it is brought up to you in the middle of the day, they're going to implement it the next day because they don't want to send people home to fix that.
Right. And also, when I walk into Walmart, you can tell that Walmart employees love the fact that there's no uniform. So they are respectful about it. They're usually dressed presentably, at least in I'm in a little neighborhood Walmart. So who's really to say? The Walmart near my place is the most like small town Walmart in this area. But you get what I mean.
I get it.
It's a situation where, like, when you do stand up, it's kind of, I know you like to rock your shorts and long sleeves. It's a very different vibe.
Yeah, but you can look at that footage and you see that I do dress a little more snappy than that shows people I'm still wearing my t-shirt, my shorts, but they are, it's more it's about presentation. But I'm not coming in there in a suit and a tie looking like I'm about to give a speech at some committee or something like that. Right. I don't like to I still want to be comfortable, but I want to show people that,
it's still
I'm trying to present myself in a different manner than I usually would,
Right. And it also is still the faith.
Yeah, it's like it's still me, but you can tell that it's,
Yeah.
I
And
understand presentation.
while Magnus Carlsen is a very intelligent young man, I will tell you one young lady who I think is rather dumb, quite frankly, and that is our good friend Haley Welsh.
Oh boy.
Old Hawk Tua girl. This little website here, Top Class Actions. This was published today.
Oh boy.
It's an article saying that the lawsuit that is going against Haley and her team alleges the Hawk Tua crypto not registered as security. And this is brought to us by Abraham Jewett, like I said, of Top Class Actions.
Yes.
And here we go. A group of individuals who lost money after investing in a crypto token promoted by Hawk Tua girl Haley Welsh argued that the so-called meme coin was offered and sold to public as an unregistered security. The investors claim the crypto coin, dubbed $Hawk token, exhibits all the characteristics of an unregistered security under established legal precedent. The marketing campaign, led by defendants, created a reasonable expectation for profits among investors through statements like, holy shit, Tua to the moon, and promises of redefining the crypto space. The Hawk Tua lawsuit says, Tua to the moon.
Hawk Tua, more like fraud Tua.
Oh fuck! Honestly, I know this is cliche to say. She should have just
I know.
she should have just taken the clothes off. I mean, she had she would have made a lot more money. It would have been an honest day's work.
Yeah, I can't, dude. And before someone comes out and says that's sexist, I'm not really a big fan of OnlyFans. You're making me defend OnlyFans because crypto scams are worse.
Yes, I'm not a big
Especially
fan
when
of
you're
it
not
either.
when you're not registering that shit. Like, come
Anyway,
on.
investors argue that Hawk token experienced significant fatality after launching on the Solana. What is this? The Solana blockchain. December 4th, surging to, of course, 491 million market cap within hours prior to plummeting more than 90%. More or less, it just goes on to say that they also argue that the defendants, Alex Larson Schultz, Web3 developer for Over Here Limited, and Clinton So, promoted the Hawk token by leveraging Welsh's extensive social media following to market the coin as a groundbreaking cryptocurrency project. The Tua the Moon Foundation, holy shit, which the lawsuit argues received funds. What is this? The Tua the Moon Foundation. I can only my mind can only begin.
I wonder if that's the name of the foundation from the CoffeeZilla video when he's trying to grill them, and like that's the name of the Haley Welsh Foundation.
Probably is. And if you remember the bullshitter that was in the video with her, I don't remember his name, but
They had like that's the guy who said they had like
about how they're going to go to South America and they're going to have a weren't they going to have like a dog sanctuary down there?
They had like lawyers in some bullshit fucking region. It was so bad.
Yes. Oh, there's lawyers in Cambodia or whatever.
Yeah, that's what it was. Or some garbage like that.
Maybe it was Asia. Maybe it wasn't South America.
All I know is that we Googled that quickly and nothing fucking came up. It was a ass polery. It was just
yes. And not just us, by the way. People have looked into this. They're not sure what that guy's talking about. But anyway, The group argues that they suffered a collective loss in excess of $151,000 due to their investment in the Hawk coin. They claim the defendant violated two sections of the Securities Act and demand a jury trial request on award to recessory damages of recessory damages. Yeah, this is going to be some serious shit. I don't know what the state of Tennessee views on this. Of course, where Haley lives. I'm not sure if the state of Tennessee is where this coin is, or if you're going to have to go to the state where the blockchain comes from. I don't know how any of this works.
But
it sounds like a felony to me.
It might be on a national level, because if she was catering to her audience, and unless the entirety of her audience lives in Tennessee, it's going to be in various states. It's going to become a problem, or it already is a problem. But now the question is, how big of a problem is it? Like right now, it sounds bad. My speculation is that if this is across the nation, I doubt it's across the world. If it's nationwide, like I suspect it is, you might want to rush out some podcast episodes to get some money in your pocket.
Oh, well, I mean, we already remember what those were like. It's more or less just her asking a bunch of minute, senseless questions to celebrities.
Of course.
And her going, "Oh, wow." And that's like the
girl, I told you. Yes.
Right. And that's the whole show.
But yeah, that's pretty much the update on that. Like I heard there was and I predicted there had to be a lawsuit, because there's so many. I didn't know about the not registering as a security thing. I just knew with insider trade and other stuff there was going to be issues. I didn't know it was that bad. Like it was worse than I had anticipated. And to not register it as secure when you're doing it through a blockchain and shit like that is just, it's so stupid, man. It's
because see, you can tell that the entire thing was it wasn't really meant to be this overly sophisticated measure. Unfortunately, it was get in and get out. And I would not be shocked if you look into some of these other meme coins, if the same sort of corners are not being cut, under those circumstances as well.
They are.
Of course, a fatty coin. We remember how fucked up the whole fatty coin thing was. We almost went on for 2 hours about that one night.
Yeah, it just
anyway, I have to say something.
Yes.
And I really didn't want to have to get on here and mention this.
Yes.
But I am going to look at this one or two ways, because I don't want to alienate who's watching us. But what we are going to do, it doesn't matter what happens within the next 19 days. The appeal that, of course, was rejected in New York State yesterday, the lawsuit with Trump, the civil rape lawsuit with Jean Carroll. I don't know what's going to happen with the guy that will be our president. I don't know whether or not to. I'm not going to say that Jean Carroll is lying, but I'm also not going to say that Trump is guilty. I don't know what happened. But quite frankly, if the general population begins to believe that he may have done this, I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of people that will feel betrayed. And I don't know what that's going to say for the next 4 years. I don't know if people are going to be as enthusiastic. if more comes to light that look, maybe we can take the extremist route and say, oh, it's New York City, it's going to be a jaded jury, blah 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 blah, you know. Um, but quite frankly, Jimmy, I really don't want to get into any of that. I just want to make a rule that I think that we are just going to stay away from politics altogether because whatever's going to happen, I think we need to just not um, get into it at this point.
Um, I'm just gonna say this to round it up, and we can move on to Sonic 3 next, if that's fine.
Of course, yes.
I'm gonna say this. I know we're not in Facebook, but to the personal opinion, not to the personal opinion on that, seems to be a trend when he goes into office. Just look at what happened to him with his first term with Stormy.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason why I'll elaborate on this statement quickly. The reason why I agree with this statement is because look at how he was treated on The View before his presidential run. They liked him, but the second he ran for president, suddenly he's a rapist. He's grabbing people by the P word and all this other stuff. So I get that. It's like he was cool and there was nothing wrong with him. He was in the public perception, but he was a celebrity and he seemed to be cool. But the second he decided, I'm going to go run as a Republican, it's suddenly a problem. I guess what I'm going to close with this. I know we're not on Facebook, but to the people who doxed my host to the left on me, I want you to try that with me, and you may or may not get a random slew of calls at about 2 or 3 in the morning. You may have to change or block your number. I don't like threatening to dox people. I don't like threatening to get people's personal information. But some fucking cocksuckers out there didn't like that an opinion was said. Maybe if you smoked less weed, your opinion would mean something. And maybe if you stop licking the heels of politicians, since we're licking the boots of CEOs, you're licking boots of politicians who sell you shit like Eat the Rich t-shirts for 60 to 70 bucks. Yeah, I know we brought that up before, but I'm going to keep bringing it up because it's just fucking wild. You call people like us and people on the right and all that shit fascist, but little kids, let me tell you, you just did. You just pulled a fascist thing by doxing and harassing someone that they had to private their shit and all this other crap.
And also, I'm pretty sure in the past, we have said, and we will get off of this. Like I said, I really enjoy when we just kind of free ball and talk about whatever.
Of course.
But when we first started talking about this fucking guy, we made it very clear that we're not it's not like we're not wearing the hats. I'm not the biggest cheerleader. I see why a lot of people dislike him, or I see things that people dislike about him, and that's kind of where I wanted to keep it. And that was it.
For me, I'm up in front with my statements. If you're idiotic enough to think because I dislike Kamal that I'm suddenly a Trump fanboy, I'm sorry that you think it's a case of, well, if you're not looking left, you're looking right. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Keep huffing your own farts. I don't know what else to say, man.
But anyway, yes, I do, and also too, we have been rather non-political for the last couple of weeks now, it seems, and people seem to have been a lot more perceptive to it. So I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to say that because of the controversy, I really don't want to dive into it. I don't know. I just feel like it's better that we just avoid it altogether. And I wanted to say that as the first show of this year, I think that we're just going to stay away from that. And I think that would probably be better. We've been political in the past, but we have plenty of things to focus on now we just don't need that shit. I don't want to be a part of that.
And to the same, I guess to the same people, yeah, you know what? If we don't want to talk politics, guess what? We're going to have whatever raunchy humor we want and shit like that. And if you don't like that, I hope your face gets fiercely fucked behind the dumpster of an Applebee's. So anyway, Sonic 3. Really, really, really good. Sonic 3 spoilers, by the way. Really good.
Is that where all the bears are waiting?
No, that's where the sometimes you will encounter the hookers and other times you'll encounter the girls that have a little extra for the boys. Basically,
I don't know where the Applebee's is, but I have a feeling it's in Minnesota. Anyway, we are going to discuss Sonic Hedgehog 3. So this is where you can take the wheel if you have links, if you have whatever. We'll go ahead and this will be our last segment for the night.
I don't know if there's much I can really I don't obviously I'm not going to show any movie footage clips because that runs an even greater risk of a stream and all that getting taken down compared to CNN and stuff like that. So what I will do is I will get something on Google quick, but basically this was the best movie of the three in my opinion. It was really good. Sega advertised this really well. Sega is
real quick. Yes. I want to say this guy here in the chat that's been chatting with us throughout the night. My old buddy Alan has been in the chat. I just wanted to. He said he's going to bed, so I want to say thank you for hanging out with us, buddy. We'll have to get him on sometime. He's a crazy son of a bitch. Anyway, so back to Sonic. My bad.
No, you're fine. So Keanu Reeves' portrayal was pretty good. Damn it, that didn't show up as a fucking link. God damn it. You piece of shit. All right. So that was supposed to be the movie poster. Let me see if I can get this another way. All right. Let's see if this works. Okay, that worked. And I'm going to pull up the other thing that it...
Oh, okay. So this was supposed to be the poster, or this is the poster?
Well, that's one of the posters, but the reason why I really like that poster is because it's a it's sort of a reference to it's basically a reference to this, because a lot of the movie draws source material from this.
Oh, okay.
So Sonic 3
Sonic Adventure 2.
Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, Sonic 3 draws a lot of inspiration from its source material from Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. It introduces Shadow to the cinematic universe. They've already announced Sonic 4 before I even went to see 3, and that will come out in 2027. So basically, it picks up where it left off with 2. You have Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails just trying to live a normal life with their human companions, Tom and Maddie, on Earth. Things are going fine until we have it transitions over to Shadow and this lab on Earth, which is different from his origins in the game, because his origins was he was designed in this space colony in this arc thing up in space. So that was changed up. Shadow breaks out of this facility and he starts wreaking havoc. So before they go into battle, Sonic and Tom have a bit of a heart to heart that despite Sonic's origins from the first movie, he didn't let that pain change who he was, and he stayed true to his heart. It's kind of cheesy, but the premise is that Sonic had every right to be a villain, chose to be a good guy, and it's,
Right.
it's important to do that. The movie does sort of paint him going down a path of vengeance. Eventually, Gun shows up. They get Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. They head to Japan. They have their first encounter with Shadow, voiced by Keanu Reeves. Really killed the role, by the way. I was very impressed with how he handled it. He's used to playing dark and gritty characters, so I had no fear here, but still, it's a nice addition. They have their first fight. The heroes get the floor wiped with them. They continue to keep doing this chase. Eventually, the director of Gun, or one of the main guys of Gun, they get ambushed by a bunch of Eggman drones. It's not clear to me if he was just knocked out unconscious or if he's dead. So I'm presuming he's unconscious unless they decide to kill him off screen. I think that would be a very bizarre choice if they killed him off screen.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, though, Eggman has his drones hacked. So him and his assistant team up with Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails to find out that it is Eggman's grandfather, Gerald Robotnik. And the reason why this was an interesting sort of twist is in the source material, his grandfather was dead. Like he was actually killed by a firing squad. Like he's not alive.
Right.
He was killed around this. He was killed sometime, I believe, before or after his daughter Maria was killed, and Maria was basically the most important thing to Shadow. Maria's death is what basically sets Shadow on his path of vengeance. He wants to burn the whole world to the ground, starting with Gun, and Gerald is able to get Shadow to do exactly that. They round up these keys for this weapon that Gun built that's supposed to replicate the arc reactor from Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. And there's this whole heist scene. At one point, while using a disguise, Tom disguises himself as one of the main Gun guys. Shadow attacks him in a feat of rage to find out it's not him. It was Tom. Sonic sees this and he's like ready to rip this motherfucker apart. Like he's about to fall into the whole vengeance thing. And Knuckles he demands Knuckles tell him where the Master Emerald is so he can use its powers to become supersonic. At one point, Knuckles is ready to fight him, and then Knuckles says, I will tell you where the Master Emerald is, but do understand that if you do this, you're going down a dark road. So he uses the power of supersonic, starts fighting Shadow, and Shadow effectively tells him, you're no different than me. You just ignored your friends and everything in a feat of rage for revenge, which eventually leads to the climax of the movie. Tails and Knuckles having to team up with Eggman to stop Gerald and to stop the reactor from basically firing a beam that would destroy the Earth. And that's pretty much a kind of a rough summary of all that. I wish I had organized.
Is that all Sonic 3?
Well, there's a mid-credit scene that introduces or has Amy appear, and we are introduced to Metal Sonic, and then a bunch of Metal Sonics come out. And then in the post-credit scene, we see that Shadow survives moving the Ark away. So that's where we're left off. We're left off with, we know that Shadow's alive, and we know that there's a bunch of Metal Sonics, and Amy has arrived to help Sonic out. Is pretty much the gist of it. I'm pretty excited for the cinematic universe because now I don't really if the Marvel Cinematic Universe dies tomorrow, I have this cinematic universe I can keep investing in. I doubt it will, but I'm saying if it does, I have something else to invest into now that seems to be it's fresh, it's new, it's got a future ahead of itself, and you know, I don't I like that that's the summary of it in short.
Do you enjoy these? Because you're a much way bigger gamer than I ever was.
Yes.
Do you enjoy these video game adaptation films?
I do
Because I
now.
know that you had a pretty rather you had disdain, I guess is how you could put it, for Transformers One.
Well, I wouldn't say I had disdain for Transformers 1. I liked it. It's just that it lacked originality. It was the same origin story told again, and it's a shame because they had good actors and actresses on board. It's just telling the same story with the same set of characters. Transformers technically didn't start off as a video game. It technically started off as comics that eventually got adapted to the big screen. If we're talking about video game movies, we're talking about
I
the
thought
original.
Transformers was a cartoon. I was unaware that it was a comic book first.
As most people know, well, most people know it from the cartoon. It also has its run of comics. I guess when I think about video game movies, you think of like the original Mortal Kombat, the original Mario Bros.
Right, and then those were rough.
Like there's a lot of like video game media for the most part has gotten better, and I feel like Sonic is the best of video game media with some outliers. Fallout's pretty good. The Super Mario Bros. Movie done by Illumination was pretty good too. The Halo TV series was not good. That's an example of more modern video game media that was absolute shit. Yeah, let's have Master Chief take off his helmet in the first fucking season. Oh, it's Pedro Pascal.
Maybe.
Yes, it was. So it was a comic that started in the 70s, eventually got adapted into a TV series in the 80s, and then Marvel did a run of comics. Eventually, the IDW run of comics started. Then there's Dreamwave that did their own run for Armada. Then there was the whole War Within. Then there was
and he's throwing this up there too.
Do you think they're going Archie Sonic or the other ones? I think this is their own adaptation based off of Sonic 3. I think that this is going to be like this. It's kind of like how Marvel Cinematic Universe doesn't follow the comics beat for beat. It's its own thing. I think the movies here are its own thing. Like it would be cool though if they did reference something from the Archie comics, because I do like the Archie comics, and I like most of the IDW comics. There are some difficult reads in the IDW run. It depends on who's writing it. I do like when Ian Flynn writes stuff. I think for the future though, that's the thing. Like they're running a lot off of video game references. If they run out of video game source material, they could eventually start adapting stuff from the Archie comics, the stuff from the IDW comics. The only thing I'm concerned about is if they try to do anything with Knuckles again. There's a writer in the Sonic community known as Ken Panders, and he's a cancerous mole. I really hate Ken. You should Google a picture of him and you'll see why I do not like this guy. Ken Panders. This guy. Oh, he's an absolute I got bullied in high school. I would kill for an Archie Sonic series or movies. I would like that too. It's got a real dark. Oh, absolutely. And like the hard truth that some people aren't ready.
What's this guy's last name? Ken who?
Panders. Panders.
Ken Penders.
Panders.
Oh
Cocksucker.
boy. Okay. I guess we might end on this note, taking a look at old Ken before we call
We
it a
have
day
we have
here.
the Knuckles and the Shadow timelines are dark as hell. So I can't see them going for it. The reason why I can't see them going for it is because in the most recent movie Gerald Robotnik is alive, and as we know in the games originally, he was already dead. And Maria isn't killed by a firing squad either, as that was done like that guy. Ugh.
God.
So long story short, with this guy, basically he feels like anything Echidna related or Knuckles related is his baby, and if you dare to do anything with it, his response is lawsuit. He's that guy.
Alan
Yep,
again.
exactly. He is an I do not like this guy. There's only one time that I think we all unanimously agreed with him. It was back in the day. It was one of his lawsuits with either Sega or Archie itself. One of the two. There was a suit. Someone didn't have proper licensing or something over some. I can't remember if it was a character IP or something, and he rightfully won the suit. But beyond that, as your buddy in chat described, he is an absolute leech. I do not like the guy. He just, ugh.
Man.
But overall, I think I'm looking forward to Sonic 4, and maybe if they do a Shadow TV series, they can adapt. They could give a more in-depth a look into his origins, and maybe they'll set up Black Doom.
It would be fun to see a nice revitalized Pokemon series too.
There is a current one going on right now that does not have Ash as the main protagonist, and I do like that. It's called Pokemon Horizons. And before that series launched, the amount of Ash fanboys who told me, no, the series can't survive without him. It's just like, yes, it can. It's just the Pokemon company hasn't tried anything else. No, that was one of my reasons why I stopped watching the anime back in I was in high school when I stopped watching it, because it was just the same formula recycled. Ash journeys with 2 new companions. There's some rival. He'll evolve maybe 5 of his Pokemon at most, and he'll probably either get through midway through a league or he'll bottom out.
Right.
And I just couldn't be. What really became the downfall for him in story writing, there's this thing called climax fatigue. When you're trying to get to the end of your story, but you keep prolonging it, right, eventually people don't care how the ending is. They just want you to get there. So when you get to the end, you don't really feel anything. You don't feel disgust, but you're not jumping for joy. You're just glad the story's done because you just don't care anymore. Right. That's how I felt. That's how I felt at the end of Pokemon Journeys. When they got to the very end of that, people were like, "Are you excited to use the Pokemon Master now?" And I told people, I don't give a shit. It took them over 25 years to reach that conclusion. I do not care. Man. But yeah.
It's like at this point, like season 30 of The Simpsons, we get it. Homer's an idiot.
Well, the other thing is that my problem with that is that for as much as I like South, they did that too. I don't that's the problem when you write a story for that long. When it's the same formula too. If you don't have any if you don't have what they needed to do is that they needed to give it, if you wanted to stretch out a story, fine. But you need to follow side stories with other characters. There are so many characters in that universe you could have explored, and they just decided they needed one main character. And if people think Goku's a static and stale character, Ash is so much more static and stale. And the power scaling in the anime doesn't make sense either. Like, it's just, if I had to break, like, I could forgive, say what you want about the Indigo League, but I thought the Indigo League was written pretty well. It was, it had some of its flaws, but I just, the writing was so much better. But Journeys, it just, it was the most, whatever.
Yeah. Well, with that, I think that we will call it a night. Um, Alan, thank you for hanging out with us tonight in the chat.
Thank you, sir.
And yeah, Jim, we will. When I get my schedule a bit better, we will do some earlier in the evening shows. Maybe do some AM shows. We will get the schedule out. We will talk about the game show and how we're going to handle it. But for now, it's been a fun one.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Have a good one.
You too.